And that advice has cost me probably millions of dollars. They will at some point one day have their ass handed to them because it's easy come, easy go. The reality is that in investment, 90+% of people who make it easily at the beginning will lose it all.
Hey guys, Alessio, hope you're well. Today I'm speaking to you from Wales, so Yechida to all our Welsh friends everywhere. And in this video I want to talk to you about Bitcoin, so join me. Alright guys, so welcome back. Now let me just say that I'm speaking to you from a small town in Wales called Aberdare. We drove here from London this morning and it was quite a bit of a long journey. Aberdare, in case you don't know, is a very quiet, quaint little place as you can see here. So let's just walk and talk and we'll discuss Bitcoin in just a few moments. By the way, I've been trying to learn some Welsh words. I actually lived in Cardiff for some years, long time ago, so it's not my first time to Wales, by the way. Anyway, let's talk about Bitcoin. So I was speaking to my good friend Guy Cohen, who, in case you don't know, is a world famous and a leading expert on options trading and also hedging strategies. He's also the best-selling author of a book called Options Made Easy, which I highly recommend you get if you're into learning about options. I have one of his books myself. It's called Volatile Markets Made Easy, very interesting book. So anyway, I wanted to ask Guy Cohen his opinion about the Bitcoin situation. And in case you're wondering why am I asking Guy Cohen, because he's not really a crypto guy. He's more into, stocks and options. However, he's not completely new to Bitcoin. He has actually bought some Bitcoin himself in the past. So I wanted to get Guy's opinion about the whole Bitcoin market, because it's always a good idea to ask someone from a different field, from a totally different subject area like stocks and options, what they think about Bitcoin. Especially, they might bring a fresh perspective to chart analysis, for example. So let me play for you what Guy said to me in his video. It's quite interesting.
Guy, listen, I want to ask you a question. So it's about Bitcoin. How do you see Bitcoin at the moment, and how do you think it's been in the last few months? Do you think it has been in a bubble? Some people say the bubble has burst. Personally, I'm neutral on that. I have yet to see a confirmation of a bear market. I haven't seen it yet. But I would say this. Do you think Bitcoin is in a bubble or has been in a bubble recently? Do you think the bubble has burst, or do you think there's still more potential upside in the next, by the end of the year, by December, for example?
Well, first of all, I am not a crypto expert by any stretch. I was pretty late in the game on crypto as well. So,
yeah, so was I.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk from, and by the way, I want to say one thing about that. I was ready to be quite an early adopter. And without mentioning names, I was implored by a senior ex-Wall Street associate of mine that it was a complete waste of time to do that. And that advice has cost me probably millions of dollars because I would have gone in with a few. And just
to be clear, how long ago was this? 2013? Did you say
2013. It was? So what was Bitcoin? $200 at the time, something like that.
Yeah, it was about that. Yeah.
Now, even if I put 10,000 in at the time, what does that cost me? Just do a quick calculation. The truth is that very few people have really an idea. And the other truth is about crypto is if you get in early enough, then you've probably got a good chance. And if you don't, then it becomes a much rougher ride. In terms of a bubble, well, anything that goes from, a few thousand to 60,000 in a few months, well, of course, there's a bubble of sorts, and that's why it halved virtually in a few weeks after that. That was a kind of bubble. The question is it a bubble that can reinflate? And the answer to that is yes, it can. Will it? I don't know. I'm not an expert in this, and I don't think anyone else is an expert in this. I mean, there were people saying that it would be $1 million. People don't know. However, there is something to be understood here, and that is that the technology on which crypto is latched onto is real. Blockchain technology is here. It's only just started. It's just getting critical mass, and it's here to stay. It is the sort of bit like, people, I think there was someone very famous who thought that the internet would just sort of come and go like the fax machine or something, or be as important as the fax machine. Totally misread that situation. And there are probably people who misread how blockchain is going to change lives as it moves forward.
And I think what you're saying is that even if the bubble bursts, assuming it hasn't already done so, there still will be crypto technology and cryptos being used in the future, no matter what happens to the market. Is that right?
There will be a lot of losers, but there will be winners, and there will be spectacular winners, and potentially these winners will be off the scale in terms of winning. Now, there is this sort of infrastructure in crypto. It's not just a coin. The coins that are just sort of methods of exchange, they're very vulnerable. But the coins that have a real use case are the ones that are likely to win out. Now, we've got to realize it. There are over 9,000 coins out there now. And the ones that are purely based as methods of exchange will be vulnerable. The ones that have a real use case, they are based on something, they have real use, like a fee token type of thing, they will have a chance. So a fee token is basically something that has to be used in order for blockchain to operate. So Ethereum is used as a fee token, Tron, etc. Now, again, I'm not the expert, okay? I'm really, really not. I know people who are very, very well versed at this. So you want to, if you're going to get involved in any kind of crypto, then be involved in something that has a real life use case, where, for example, Ethereum is set up for smart contracts. Now, smart contracts is, something which fees are paid on. So a smart contract is effectively a tech program, an algorithm, if you like, that is utilized in order to execute a document in the blockchain environment. I think that's a fairly okay way to put it. And therefore, when one of these smart contracts is executed, there is a fee to pay. And Ethereum is set up for such a fee. So it has a use. There are gaming coins. Now, in gaming, this is a multi-billion-dollar economy.
Going back to Bitcoin, I'm just wondering what you think about the situation now. I understand you're saying you're not a crypto expert. That's fine, but I do know you have tremendous experience in trends, in market behavior, the fact that markets often have reversal in trends or corrections. How do you see this recent crash in Bitcoin? Just generally, do you still think that there's potential for us to, let's say, have do you think this is just a correction, and then we'll probably be like by the end of the year we'll probably be by 100,000, 90,000, or 100,000? Is that your point of view?
It's going to be all about where the big hype comes in. And if it has another surge of positive hype, then the prices will go up. Is that likely to happen? Well, the chart isn't the thing that's going to tell you that. What's going to happen is behavior.
What does your gut feeling tell you about, okay, let's say behavior, psychology, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that. What does your gut feeling tell you about what potentially could happen to Bitcoin by the end of the year?
Well, okay, you're talking about
could we see 100,000? What do you think?
The way I do things, Alessio, I can't tell you that because I don't do things that way. Now, as a gut feel, do I think that Bitcoin will go up? I do, because I think there'll be another wave of hysteria to make it happen. Something will happen to say, some countries allowing it, some companies allowing it, or whatever, and everyone will pile in, a bit like they did with Elon Musk. So I suspect that it has got some legs. But what I would say is this, is that it comes back to the original point that if you can focus your energy, and it will take a bit of research, there's 9,000 of these things out there, okay? But if you can focus on the ones that have real use cases, then you've got a lot better chance surviving a bubble bursting than otherwise. So, and by the way, in crypto, I spoke to a very successful crypto owner. He's in loads of things, very successful person. And I think his initial investment was 10,000 many years ago, 10 years ago. And now he's worth about 40 million in crypto.
Wow.
Something obscene. And honestly, he didn't know what he was doing, but he has learned what he's doing right now. But again, if you focus on real use cases stuff, I mean, what he was saying, actually, I forgot what I was going to say, but what he said is that it's quite usual. And think about this from my point of view, it's like, really? he says quite usual. It's not unusual or unexpected or a surprise when you get an 80% drop. I mean, how many times has Bitcoin dropped 80% in the last 5-10 years?
Yes.
3-4 times. So they're used to it. It's a different animal, but it's an animal that I believe is going to remain. Yeah, I don't think crypto is going to go away in some format. Now, whether I think it'll shed its skin, and there'll be a lot of losers, and probably the vast majority of people will lose as well. You know, they will at some point one day have their ass handed to them because it's easy come, easy go. The reality is that in investment, 90+% of people who make it easily at the beginning will lose it all, but there will be this sort of, this sort of kernel of winners who are going to win big because the technology is there.
All right, guys, I hope this video has helped in some way, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video update. Cheers, guys. Bye now.